Hello everyone, in this video I want to discuss the definitive answer to one of the questions many who are new here to this channel and others who have been here following this channel for as long as I have been uploading have, which is called, what is MGTOW? I believe this question is important and should be answered, so let's begin. So to answer this question, MGTOW is an acronym that stands for Men Going Their Own Way, which is a lifestyle philosophy for men that aims to encourage those who adopt it for themselves to do their own thing and, as is stated in the acronym, go their own way. It is intended to serve as the solution to most, if not all, issues that men would face in the world in terms of dating, relationships, and marriage, be it common law marriage or official marriage. As stated in the acronym, MGTOW is an individualist philosophy, not a collectivistic one, and thus has no leader or leadership-like structure. It is also a philosophy for men, and thus also covers male independence, identity, sovereignty in its scope, and this will be important to keep in mind for later on. Moving on. Before I want to discuss the history of MGTOW and other facts about it, I first want to discuss what the philosophy, is not, so we have a clear understanding. MGTOW is not a movement as many think, as it would be collectivistic with a leadership structure, instead of being about going your own way as an individual man, and thus being individualistic. MGTOW is not misogynistic or male supremacist, because the former would be gynocentric, just as gynocentric as simping, and the latter is not something that is relevant to MGTOW, nor is it something that is believed in, or something that we would ever believe in. MGTOW is not political, as it is above the realm of politics, and doesn't have a set political ideology. MGTOW is not gay, as others allege, for the same reason it isn't straight or bi or pan or anything, because it is an idea, a philosophy, and not a living person, a living thing, and thus cannot have orientations to begin with. MGTOW is also not the same as being an incel, as MGTOW by its name is voluntary and a choice, instead of being involuntary. Finally, MGTOW is not black pill, as MGTOW doesn't believe the world is hopeless, or that things are over, nor does it subscribe to anything that does. I hope this about does it for what it's not as a quick debunk. Now it's time for the brief history lesson. The philosophy of MGTOW, of men going their own way, began with its humble origins on the internet around 2001, with the earliest known writing to reference the acronym being around that time frame, known as the MGTOW Manifesto, though some call it a white paper, and it was derived from the men's rights activist communities of that era, but with a key distinction, with the idea being that going your own way instead of direct activism was the solution to our problems and the way forward, and it is that aspect that still shapes the MGTOW mindset even today. On the note of the manifesto, to show how much MGTOW has evolved, you can still see back then the focus at the time was instilling femininity in women, masculinity in men, and achieving a small government. This shows that the philosophy has libertarian and individualist roots and was about freedom, especially with the last point, even if there are some anachronistic and tradcon sounding points that aren't really applicable to MGTOW as it is today when you consider the gender norms. From its origins with the manifesto in 2001, MGTOW has grown a lot online, throughout platforms such as YouTube, Twitter, Discord, Facebook, and even in the past platforms such as Reddit, and even our own websites and forums such as MGTOW.tv and the former MGTOW.cafe forum that used to exist, and future platforms of note such as Blue Sky where I'm actively growing. It has managed to grow, if my numbers are right, to at least 1 million strong at the time of 2019, but we might need to figure out what the actual number is for this decade. It has a golden age. It had a golden age in the 2010s decade, lasting all the way until 2019, with us entering the slight dark ages at around 2020 and 2021 respectively, but recovering it from it in the years afterwards. MGTOW content creators like Sandman, Barbar, Thinking Ape, Coltane, and even myself helped shape MGTOW and its values beyond what was once mentioned in the manifesto. MGTOW managed to stay relevant with the times, with still holding true to what makes our philosophy great and strong. And that is, in my opinion, what makes us great and what makes our philosophy strong and valuable in the 21st century. Now, with the brief history over, I want to explain briefly who MGTOW is for and what its 4 basic guidelines are. MGTOW, as it's named, Men Going Their Own Way, is a philosophy for men, and it's made for men, as is described in the name. Its 4 basic guidelines are 1. Be male. 2. Don't be married. 3. Don't be in a long-term relationship. And 4. Don't cohabitate. It is that simple, and the only things we are asking of you if you want to be one of us. The reason for these guidelines existing is simple: to protect you from things like alimony, in particular lifetime alimony, and also child support on top of it if you have kids while in such a situation. And the result of doing so is because there is a good chance that if you face divorce court in a no-fault divorce, alimony as well as transfer of assets will be granted from you to the other party in the relationship. Because we do not want that happening to us, nor do we want a lifetime wealth redistribution, and because, as it turns out, marriage, long-term relationships, and cohabitation, and even dating are superfluous and unnecessary for the fulfillment, happiness, and enjoyment of life in modern times, we decided that the basic rules should exist to help guide us and future generations and descendants who follow this philosophy, wherever they may be forwards. That the idea was that we should have one singular set of rules that can help us guide forwards and help us protect from anything. On that note of future descendants, I want to get into a bit of MGTOW discussion that some would consider involved, but merely state my own opinion on it. There is a particular segment of MGTOWs that add onto the 4 basic rules other rules, but in particular to this discussion, they add no new children or some variant of it. Given that surrogacy and IVF still exist and are beneficial to single men, and given that it has no such link to being divorced or being made to pay alimony or child support, I find such a proposition nonsensical and stupid. But others may have a different opinion on this from me on this topic, but I wanted to let my opinion on any such no new children rules type of rule be let known, far and wide. In my opinion, MGTOW has done many positive things for me throughout my life, allowing me to avoid the entire shit show that are long-term romantic relationships and the nonsense that comes with the idea of falling in love, which hopefully the ideals of MGTOW will help put to rest in general, and give it its much-deserved retirement, and thus focus on my values, and also interests such as politics, technology, and gaming, especially the latter two, and has also helped me and my channel grow online. So I want to thank our great philosophy for that, and for those who watch my channel, and for those who still watch my channel even throughout these years. Furthermore, the greatest message of the MGTOW philosophy was that you did not need to get married be in a relationship, and in fact, that there was an alternative to the traditional path, the traditional way of life that is expected of everyone in society. And it is that message, still to this day, why I 100% support it and support MGTOW. So, if you like this message and agree with it, if you feel like you have what it takes, if you meet the requirements and have what it takes to be a MGTOW, welcome aboard. We are glad to have you here, and should you ever want to leave for any reason, or you feel MGTOW has done what you needed it to do, then by all means you're welcome to. The choice is yours, and yours alone. With that being said, this has been Igor, MGTOW, and Video Games. Like and subscribe and click the bell notifications on YouTube if you enjoyed the video. And follow me on alternative platforms like Odyssey.com, MGTOW.tv, Twitter, Blue Sky, and Rumble. Also join my Discord server, and bye bye. Thanks for watching.